So I picked up this 1973 Porsche 914 with the idea that it would be either a stock daily driven restoration in its original color, Olympic blue, or maybe a combination street track car with a Gulf blue and orange livery. It basically depends on the condition of the overall car. Here's what I'm working with. According to the first two letters of the engine number, EA, it has a 1.7 liter, and of course it has a 5-speed transmission. It's not in the greatest shape overall, and it's not running very well. Finding any gear in the transmission is a chore. The fuel injection has been replaced by Weber IDF 40s, and the rust, well, that's a whole nother story. We'll get to that once we get the car completely torn down. So in this video, I'm going to break down everything I see that it needs without a deep inspection. We will cover getting the engine running halfway decently and seeing if we can't figure out the issues with the transmission. I'm sure I will make some mistakes, as this is my first experience with a Porsche 914 or anything air-cooled. My thoughts were, I've owned many project cars in my lifetime, and being in the car business, I've driven many cars, and one car I have very little experience with was the air-cooled Porsche or Volkswagen engine. I had heard that this engine was described as a simple basic design, and I thought it would be fun working on something that didn't have a liquid cooling system. I mean, it would be easier, right? Of course, I was in for a big surprise, as I didn't realize that they needed all that tin to keep the engine cool, including all the ducting needed for the heat and doors and all the cables and all the things that went with it. I've worked in auto dealerships most of my life, and buying and selling cars was a big part of my job. I know how to make a profit on late model cars. When it comes to vintage or classic cars, buying and selling them for a profit is a high-skilled job and a little out of my league. For me and for most, making a profit on a classic is very tough to do, even if you do the work yourself and don't account for your labor. The only people that seem to make a profit in restoring older cars are the professional shops that charge big money to do the work for someone who is willing to pay to have it done and want a perfect car. So for me, I'm doing this for fun and the hope of recovering most of my money so I can go out and find that next project. So let's get started. So as badly as this engine ran when I bought it, I figured the first thing I would do is a compression check, just to see what the engine is like internally. First up, remove spark plugs. If we can get the engine running smooth enough, the next thing we'll do is try to figure out the linkage and see if that's the issue on the transmission. So this is great. I managed to drop the spark plug down into the shielding and had a hold of it with a magnet, and then it let go, and now I can't get it. So what we'll try now is let me use my Borescope and see if I can find it and then somehow get a magnet on it. Well, the Borescope came in handy. Got my spark plug, and we'll try it again. Okay, so I'm gonna hook up the remote start. Let's put this, and it doesn't come off. All right, see if that'll do it. So my remote quit working, so we need to find out what's going on there. Okay, so my clip came off again. I've got a new idea. Okay, so my makeshift jumper, and we'll see if this works. Because the fuel injection was removed, the previous owner added a jumper wire to the relay board for the new fuel pump, which I disconnected so fuel wasn't pumped while I checked the compression. The compression check resulted in all 4 cylinders being about 100 psi. It should read 120 to 135. To me, this means that the rings are most likely pretty worn out. Next was to set the timing. Okay, so we're just going to hit it till we find our timing marks for top dead center. Okay, well, I can't find any timing marks whatsoever. I'm going to take a look at the old distributor. Supposedly there's a mark on that that says where cylinder number 1 is. Okay. So this is a no-go because this is some type of Flamethrower distributor, which isn't an original, so that won't work either. Okay, maybe you can see this. This is the Borescope looking at both valves closed and the piston at pretty close to top dead center. So hopefully we can just get this car started just to see if it runs. So not being able to find the timing marks, pretty sure I'm on top dead center and I see no mark in there whatsoever. And there should be one, and I don't see it. But according to my Borescope here, which is what I had to use last resort, the piston is on top dead center and the valves are shut. So this should be the correct position for the rotor for top dead center. So I will set the distributor to work with that. Okay, sparks plug is back in. Hopefully I'm close. We'll see. I'm close. I'm close. Okay, she's running. A little bit rich, but we'll see. We'll try to adjust these carburetors. Okay. Now I've got to figure out, I don't know anything about Webers, so I'm going to have to check this out, look it up, and see if I can do a few more adjustments. Then I'll work on the transmission, getting it to shift, and after that, then everything comes out. We'll see what kind of car we really got. Okay, so we have an issue with the transmission. It won't go into any gear other than reverse, and if you try to get it into another gear, it just grinds. So something's going on. You can see this bushing is broken, but it's not loose. Well, it's a little bit loose, but not enough to make it so you can't even shift gears. So let's take a look at here. And this bushing looks to be pretty good. Not any movement really. So in the boot or the cover or whatever they call this rubber cover for it is totally gone. So the next step would be go inside and look at the shift lever and see how that mechanism is doing. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is remove this shift knob, which takes an Allen. Can't tell you what size it is. It's a little larger than the 3mm is what I've come up with. Off. Okay. Pull the carpet out. Okay. Then I notice this here. I'm like, what is this? A temperature sending unit or something? Turns out it's a push button starter, remote starter. I don't know why they needed that in there, but they hid it under the carpet. Looks like wiring has been disconnected. This car is in not too good a shape. We got, I don't know what this is all about, but it's not good. And I don't see Where the issue is here with the shifting seems to be maybe it's inside the transmission where it's the issue. I don't know. Guess we'll find out. So here I'm removing the shift lever. I examined the bushings and they seem to be in pretty good shape, so I don't think it is the linkage. Well, it turns out that the transmission has an issue internally and it just will not shift correctly. I did take it out on the road and the engine ran okay, but you can tell it's very tired. The transmission just would not shift very well. I found a few gears, but there's something internally wrong with it. So I drained the oil to look to see if it had metal shavings, and I found this half ring stuck to the magnetic plug. I guess my next step will be pulling the engine and transmission. Thanks for watching.